Sweet. Okay. So as far as doing some shout outs, I know so far this month, Brittany has signed up 2 people already, and a level 2, right? And a new level 2. Yep. Jen has brought on a new level 2 as well and has a potential person to possibly want to earn some money. So that's super exciting. And then I have brought on one person myself as well, somebody who came back. I have to say, technically tonight should be about recruiting. And I had just listened to this call from Genevieve, and she was asking, like, does your team know how to recruit? Do they know, like, do you have a solid system for like when, you get someone who's like, okay, yeah, I do kind of want to like share or, whatever, do they know what to do? And I was like, oh, I mean, I know how to recruit people and sign people up. I know Brittany does. I know Jen does. I know Gina is learning as well. And I feel like for myself and helping other people, like the tried and true method is, I think Brittany might be the only one who knows when I say this, but the ATM method, where you add them to a group, you tag them in testimonies, and then message them in a 3-way message, right? I feel like eventually people will get to the point where they don't necessarily need the 3-way message, but I think 3-way messages in general are great for the third party validation. And then getting them to an event, which I think having the Thursday event always running is super helpful for someone who does maybe want to earn some money. She also said in this call that she's not going over like, she's like, I'm not telling them about pay points. I'm not telling them about like the pay point value. I'm not sending them the whole compensation plan. Basically, if you want to go gold and stay gold, like solid, your goal should always be to have 4 customers right? 4 customers with 4 customers. So breaking it down into like a 4x4. And if you always have that solid 4, but like those 4 could change, right? But if you think having 4 people with 4 customers, you're always going to be gold. You're going to be gold no matter what. So I thought that was a really cool way that she broke that down. And to continue further, if you have 4 legs that do that, if you have 4 level 1s who develop to gold by having 4 customers who have 4 customers, you're going to go ruby. So she was breaking down goals into 4x4s. And I thought that was a pretty interesting way to look at it. I ended up recording the call onto my computer so I can put it on my YouTube unlisted. It's just like it's not a public call that is supposed to be put out. So I can do it unlisted and send it to you guys if you want to watch it. I think one of the things to remember though is that Genevieve is speaking to a whole group of diamonds. So, some of them are pretty hard charge and they talk about all sorts of events and how many times of day they can do specific events and whatnot. But it was a pretty interesting call. And I will say, like, towards the middle, because I missed it, so which is why I recorded it. But towards the middle, I think is where the golden nuggets were. And she had really good verbiage too for helping people get started, getting people into an event, and then basically saying like, okay, if you're ready to start for your health, like this is what we would recommend you start with. And it costs this much money. Are you ready? You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes we can overcomplicate it, but it was really good. So I will put it on my YouTube as unlisted and then send it to you guys if you would like to watch it. It is like an hour long though. So that's the only thing. It's like an hour long. But most of the meat is kind of in the middle, but it is kind of cool too, because you get to hear like diamonds asking questions and whatnot. So that's kind of cool. There was one girl who was like, oh, when I get somebody signed up, and I get the email, I just take their email address and sign them up for the Plexus corporate call. And you could tell that Genevieve was like, don't do that. She was like, do you get their permission to do that? And the girl was like, should I? And she's like, you absolutely should. Like, no one's complained yet. And she said no, but Genevieve was like, okay. But it was interesting. She basically was just talking about like always having something to plug people into so that when we do have someone who's interested in earning a little bit of money, we can make it super simple for them. We don't have to explain a whole compensation plan to people. We don't have to even explain points to them. We can just tell them like, let's get you 4 customers and help them find 4 customers. Another video that I want to bring up that I know I have sent to Brittany and to Jen is an Emily Gibson video where she says not to say, get your products covered. And she actually said it makes her butthole clench when people say it. And I thought it was hilarious, but so true. And the point she made when she's saying that, like, people just starting on our products don't know the value of our products. So they don't care about covering the cost of the product, but they care. Like, Brittany had a girl and she literally just asked her the other day, like, would you want to make $300 to help pay for some stuff for your wedding? Like, nothing to do with your products, but $300 is $300, whether it pays for your products or your kids back to school or your car payment or your bills or what have you. Figuring out how $300 would actually be a blessing to them and kind of going for that. It's a little bit more personal. And to be honest, unless they're like somebody who really understands the value, they're not going to care about getting their products covered. Like, they're just not going to care. And I mean, I have found that to be true in all the years that I have done this. Like, most people are like, yeah. But when you say, you want to make $300, then they're always like, yeah, I can definitely do that. So just some things that I have learned this week as far as like shifting a little bit of my thoughts around certain things, because I 100% had been asking people if they want to cover their products. And now I'm like, why did I say that? But
I wanted to add real quick too. So I did that for the gal that was just signed up this month, who's, I knew she was getting married. So that's why I worded it that way. And of course her response was, well, I think literally was like, well, duh, yeah. So I'm now chatting with her, but then I did it again today with a happy customer. It was just like a customer care chat or like message I sent her and checking in and whatnot. I think she's on month 2 or so. And I knew she had a daughter. And, I confirmed that, went to her Facebook page and everything. And then, so I just asked her, like, with $300 help with like school supply stuff for your daughter? And she's like, I mean, I don't know how she worded it, something like, I mean, it definitely wouldn't hurt, something like that. So again, just like finding, even if you don't know really personal things, like if they have kids right now, like that school supply would be a perfect line to use. And I'm gonna, like, that's my to-do list on tomorrow too, is kind of go through my happy customers, like who has kids, who can I start building relationships with and wording it that way.
absolutely. I think that is a great idea. And I did put some back to school slides in the team chat today as well, if you want to use those. I totally like lost my train of thought because, the customer appreciation chat that happened on Saturday. I definitely think our team had the most people in there. I think our team had the most like active people in there as well. I personally thought it was great. I'm so glad that it was just a weekend, whereas a couple of people were like, let's do a month-long chat. And I was like, count me out. I will not be doing a month-long anything. So with that being said, we are going to do that again this weekend for all of our customers that we have had in. Yes, Jen. You're muted. No, you're muted.
There we go.
There.
All right. So I have a concern about that.
Okay, tell me.
Okay. So if we're all inviting all of our customers, that's a lot of people in a chat.
So
Here's what my worry is that chat is going to keep going on and on and on. Like you're always going to get binged on your phone. So are they doing like maybe your last couple of months, or how are they doing that?
So mostly by they, it's been like Bridget and I kind of brainstorming this because she had asked for some videos and I was the only person who gave her a video. When people were like, thanks, Allie, I was like, I just recorded a video. Like, I didn't, she told me what to record and I did it. But we had kind of had that thought as well. And then we were like, well, what if we had just 2 chats going all weekend? So I could say like, we want to do and we could do our own chat of just like my team, our team, us, right, and our customers, and
Mhm.
essentially just like mirror like whatever's going on. I mean, we can be in both to kind of just be supportive and see like what's going on in there and whatnot, and run our own and do it that way.
I to me, for me, I think that would be great because I almost feel like if the chat just keeps binging people's phones, it's going to be such a huge turnoff.
I agree. So I will say one of the things too, and it's so interesting to like the video that we had watched kind of that sparked the idea for this. The woman basically was like, I don't give them a choice. I add them right into this chat, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I would never do that. I immediately was like, I would never just add people into a chat. I want to give them the choice. And I found myself just being very excited about it and going to my people with the excitement as I was inviting them, and not saying like, do you want to be in this? I was just saying, I'll add you in as soon as it's open. And then I said, if you have plans already going on that day, or the notifications bother you, to go ahead and mute it. So I think too, if we kind of preface it with that, like you can mute this chat if you need to, that might be helpful.
Okay.
But I didn't have anyone say no. Nobody said they didn't want to be in the chat. I think I had one girl who didn't look at it at all, but she's just like, I don't know, in La La Land half the time. So I don't know.
I also find like where I am located, like my customers, like everybody waits and everybody's trying to get that last fishing trip in or that last camping trip in. What I mean? So
Okay.
I only had
I
one
agree.
that, but I had added 3, I think, and I don't know that the other 2 even looked at it.
Right.
So yeah, that's my other thing. Like I know, but I like the idea of saying you can mute it if you want to. So I'll have to.
So that's a good thought as far as like it being the end of summer. Well,
I love the idea of it. I love the idea of it. I'm just thinking like where I live because we are up north,
yes, yeah.
and there's just everybody's just trying to get that last little vacation in before school starts. But,
When does school start for you guys?
it's usually in September, right? The day, I'm sure, like, so Labor Day's a Monday, so it's like usually that Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
I would say what we can do. So the thought behind the chat for this Saturday was that it would be all of our customers and even those who have stopped ordering because of whatever is going to be happening between the 16th and the 18th. I still haven't seen it. I haven't actually seen it with my own eyeballs. Jen, you said
I did. I think they took it off there because I went back and looked and it wasn't there. I'm like, really? Now you're making me feel like I'm crazy because I know I read that.
Yeah, I was like, you weren't the only person. Somebody else had said something too. So I'm like, did something slip? Like, was that a mistake in general? Like, I don't know, but there have been rumors of something happening for people who have been inactive between the 16th or the 18th. So the thought of bringing people who weren't ordering would be to kind of like expose them again, and then hopefully that with whatever the promo or sale is, that maybe they would want to come back.
Awesome.
But
okay.
I was thinking, and I'd love to kind of get your guys' opinion, because I personally like, I guess I didn't know what I thought the chat would be, but I thought it was great. I ended up having 2 people posting from the chat, like that I wasn't necessarily, one of them was a guy that I just didn't think would post. I didn't think he was paying attention to the chat, but he totally was. So that was pretty cool. And I personally think that those should be done every month now. So like if we did this Saturday would be for all of our previous customers. And I mean, you could pick and choose who you want to invite. You could figure out how you want to work this week. If you want to invite 5 current people and 2 people who stopped ordering, if you're like, I don't even want to look at those names and anyone in that line, I don't blame you. And I wouldn't invite any of them. But you know what I mean? Like you can kind of strategically go through your people and just have a game plan for working this week and providing good customer care, right? You can go to that lady who has a whole bunch of perk points and say, hey, you know, we're going to do this chat Saturday. If you want to check it out, I know you have so many perk points. Like there's going to be some product info about some stuff that you could maybe use your perk points for, but it's going to be basically like a thank you. We can do a giveaway kind of thing, essentially like doing the same thing that Bridget just did for our people. And I will see what she says about, because that is, we could end up having a chat with like 200 something people, you know what I mean? And that would be a lot. I wonder if there's like a maximum amount of people you can have in a group chat. I don't know, but I would not be opposed to doing our own at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would be great.
I would love to see that, but you know, I'm game for whatever anybody else is feeling too. So that was just my main concern, is just constant messages coming in.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And I think too, like, I don't know, if we do our own team, like it just gets our people, I think, like they'll utilize it in a sense. You know what I mean? If the four of us go back to our team and we're hyped up about it and we're like, we're gonna do our own chat, you know what I mean? It might get more people to be more excited about it. And in the end, we won't end up with like a massive chat. Because I also think too, you have to be careful in chats where people can say something negative and like kind of bring the vibe down, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, how do I fix this real quick? Like damage control. But I mean, I don't mind. I'll tell Bridget, like, we'll do our own. We'll, like, that's fine. I think
I wanted to say that, you know, when you're doing these messenger events, there, I know in groups, like you're doing, when you're adding people to messenger things and stuff, when I was adding people to groups, when I was doing Pampered Chef, they would stop you and sometimes flag your group if you did too many at a time. Like, you know, so if you're going to invite and you have a lot of people to invite, only do a few, and then later in the day or something, add some more. You can't add them all at one time. They start flagging you and they think that you're spamming people. And so just so you know, if everybody starts adding to this group and, you know, maybe it's because it's one person. Like if I added 10 and somebody else added 10, that might not be a big deal.
Right.
But if I'm adding 20 people, no, they will flag you.
Do you know if it's for Messenger or just for like a Facebook group?
It was for both, because I do Messenger first, because we, you know, adding them in to a Messenger group, and then it also was part of the group thing. And if you started sending them a message that, oh, hey, we're fixing to be doing this at this time, if you did too many at one time, you got flagged and you got shut down.
Oh, that's good to know. I've never run into that. The only thing I've ever had is Facebook. I don't know. One time took a comment into wrong context and I couldn't post for like a month.
Yeah, I did that too. I said, hit me up, and they flagged me.
Yeah, I think I said like I would knock him out, like referring to what somebody said about like a special needs kid or something like that. And, like violence. Okay, but that's good to know. So maybe a more reason why we should do our smaller one. I will say, as far as like messenger chats, I try to honestly add as many people as I can at a time, because then people aren't, you know, Jen's messenger is not going to say like Ali Bashan added Jessica, Ali Bashan added blah, Ali Bashan added blah. Like it's going to say like Ali Bashan added Jessica and 12 others, rather than having 13
Each one.
notifications. Yeah. So I try to do it that way. Which I like that it was opened the night before. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. So yeah, I thought it was really good. And the thought would be this Saturday that we can do it for all of our previous customers, except for the people that we've added in August, because come September, we can do the August people. So then like at the beginning of each month, we'll do a quick chat like that for everyone that joined the month before. I think we should do it until the end of the year and just see.
I love it.
I do too. And it's quick, right?
Yeah. And it's
So-
just way to appreciate and put some more information out there and let them know that they are supported. I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good. So one thing I want to share real quick that Brittany and I had been talking about, and this is more so for like some newer people, right? First I need to make sure, can you guys see my screen? Perfect. So this is something that Brittany and I had been working on as far as being able to help new people kind of like with what steps they should be taking as far as having success, right? With Plexus and whatnot. Why won't you guys? Okay.
oh yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. So this is just kind of what we kind of came up with as far as steps to success. So right, like logging into your back office every day, learning to check for declines, your perks report, or finding something new in your back office, right? Maybe you find something brand new that you didn't know was there, or you find a new resource. Just getting in and clicking things is kind of going to be the best way, maybe one of the best ways to learn. I don't know. It depends on your personality type, I suppose, but I learned a lot just by clicking around in my back office. So we just encourage you to be in your back office every day, because it's easier to catch something than not logging in all week because you were maybe afraid of your numbers. I have been there before where I'm like, I don't want to look at the numbers right now. I'm not sure where they're going to be. But you know, inaction is worse than anything. So we want to be logging in, looking at things, checking for things, going to your upline if you see something where you're like, what does that mean? Or why did that happen? Or how do I fix this kind of thing? Reaching out to 3 to 5 people from their stories, focus on ending with a question to start a conversation. Not necessarily to start a Plexus conversation though, just to start building relationship and learning that person and asking questions. And maybe eventually you'll find out if Plexus could be a fit for an issue that they might be having, right? Or if it's somebody that you really want to work with, but you need to build a little bit of rapport with them, ask questions. Ask questions. I am in a conversation with Karen and one of her new people, and all I have done is ask questions. Like that is all that I have done, because sometimes asking the questions, when people answer, they start to realize like how much they actually do need the product. You know what I mean? But replying to stories is such a good way to start conversation, because I mean, one of my favorite things is like, oh my gosh, I love your dress. Where is it from? I literally just sent that to a girl yesterday. Right. And she's like, oh, it's from Red Something Boutique. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where is that at? Like, you know, or is it online? Do you have a link for it? Or ask like if you can compliment someone and ask them a question, I think you're golden. You know what I mean? So number 3 is to make a post, alternate between Plexus and bringing value. Share what you're learning or something that would be helpful to a stranger. I think Bob Heilig is one that Brittany and I really like a lot. And sometimes if I make a post, I like hear him in the back of my head. I'm like, would this be helpful to a stranger? Like if a stranger found this post, would they learn something or like take something away from them, or would it be helpful? So as far as bringing value, right? Like that's some things to think about when you're like, okay, is this valuable? Like, would a stranger find it helpful? And then obviously alternating that in your Plexus post as well. I have a post that I'm probably going to put up tonight after we get off of this call and before we start book club. And because I did a value post this morning. And then number 4, comment on 5 people's posts from your feed. And I put more than an emoji because I think emojis are lazy. I mean, sometimes they can be fitting, but sometimes just an emoji is lazy, in my personal opinion. And, you know, especially if like we're kind of commenting on each other's stuff from time to time, you want to do more than an emoji because that helps the algorithm. But nonetheless, like trying to leave a thoughtful comment, right? Or something that's going to stand out, or again, like asking a question in the comments as well is always good. And number 5 is talk to at least one new person about Plexus and update your list. So all of these people that you reached out to, put them on your list. Make sure they're on your list. Brittany, do you have anything you want to add?
I thought I did, but I think you really said everything. For number 4, this was something actually I learned or heard from Emily Gibson. as far as commenting on people's feed. And it was something I personally did, so I think it hit me a little harder. I used to go off of my list and like go search that person on Facebook and then comment on their thing and then go search this person. Like I thought I was strategically doing things, which yes, that's great, but it also took a lot more time. And so it was an Emily Gibson who just said, she's like, I literally would almost like the green light challenge. She said, I would set a timer, 5-10 minutes, whatever that looks like for you. And she goes, I would just comment literally every single post of something like that came on my feed. She goes, it doesn't matter who it was. I just commented. And she goes, and same thing, like she didn't say not just an emoji, but she's like, a thought, like take 30 seconds to really think about something that would that make you smile if you received that comment? So she's like, I just felt like I could be a light for somebody, did that for 10 minutes. And so I was like, that would obviously take a lot less time than having to like search and look and search and look. So yeah, that's something I've been starting to implement too. And even if I just get like 3 minutes, like I know I'm waiting, for my Walmart pickup and I have literally 3 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go comment on as many as I can in my 3 minutes, again, just to help boost that algorithm. And we all know, how the Facebook works. So that was, just something that she said that I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing that.
I like that. I like that. That is true. I don't think I've ever done it that way, but that makes sense. So I will put this in our chat as well for some of our newer people so they can kind of see that. Do you guys have anything you want to share or add or questions or anything?
I have one more thing, sorry, that I want to say. Because I've been getting the last like 2 or 3 of my conversations were ones that came back with like the finance side just like not being enough. And it's just like, like you don't see the value yet. So clearly that's on me, not showing them how valuable these products are. But it made me think about another call that I was listening to. And the guy said that instead of, our welcome packs for $112, right? Most of these conversations I have are triplex. And he says, instead of me saying that, oh yeah, your welcome pack, you get started, it's $112, yada, yada. He goes, I straight up say it's going to be $130. And then he goes, I kind of finish it with saying like, but actually your first month, it's like super discounted and it'll only be $112 for your first month. So it's like already putting that in their mind that's how valuable these products are at roughly $130, whatever that looks like shipping, right? But your first month is discounted for this amount, because I feel like I do the polar opposite where I'm like, it's only $112 to get started, thinking that's like gonna be golden. And then they're asking questions like, well, your next few months, it's going to be this though. So I'm learning to now switch that when I'm explaining, when I get to that, that price point for people in a conversation. But I thought that was really smart, because then they already know what the price is in their head. They're not shocked when month 2 rolls around, because I've had that too. And then it's like, oh, wow, this is really discounted for the first, so just a little tidbit too.
I think that's great. I want to do that with the next person I get to pricing with and be like, well,
yeah. And that's what I'm excited about, to try and start implementing and see how they respond.
That's awesome. I think that's such a good tip. Anybody else want to share anything at all before we hop on? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I will share those steps to success. And if there's anything else I'm supposed to put in the chat, just remind me, because I feel like I was rushing tonight to get on. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
You have a good night. Bye.